No. This is. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for.
Yeah, right there.
These are asking for this, Steve.
There's one over
Oh, there
there.
is. I just wanted to. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Nah, I'm fine.
Oh,
Honestly, I'm fine.
for that?
Yeah. I was just gonna sit over there.
I thought I made another one.
I don't know. Is there another one?
No, I made the one for Paul. I thought we made 4. The second time we made 3. No, I made 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I know. I can't stop it now.
Yeah. He likes it.
I know. Cut. Very nice.
Yeah, it's all good.
I mean, it's. Just out here.
Here you go.
Yeah, but now I'm actually. Oh, fair enough.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
You know, despite how cold it is outside, I love it. I love the changing of the seasons. Uh-oh, here we go. I saw some of the hand motions. Like, okay, sure, here he goes. I do. I absolutely love it because when it is cold outside, it always fills me up with a sense of warmth because we spend most of our time in these winter months inside together. And when we join together as a community, as we look around this room, we can feel the warmth that emanates from each and every one of us. So let's begin our service before we sing Shalom Aleichem, which can be found on page 24. But before we sing Shalom Aleichem, let's turn to the people who are near us and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. Maybe introduce yourself if you haven't met before. Take a moment just to feel that sense of goodness and kindness.
Shabbat Shalom.
So it feels good. It feels good to be together. It feels good to come together and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. And so let's turn to, in our prayer books, and for those of you who this might be your first time here, we have a Siddur, a prayer book that is in front of you. It's blue, and it opens and goes from right to left as the Hebrew language does. And we are going to join together. You're welcome to sing along with us on page 24, singing Shalom Aleichem. And as we do, I want to call up the Fares family to come forward because they are going to, in just a moment, have the honor of lighting their Shabbat lights as Oliver is going to become bar mitzvah tomorrow. So let's begin wishing each other with sincerity and enthusiasm. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tetkem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We're going to turn now back in our Siddur to page 2 and 3, and Oliver is going to, in just a moment, kindle our Shabbat candles. Shana is going to read the English, and we're going to read responsively. There is so many different types of light, the light that we physically see, the light that allows us to see, but there's also the spiritual light of creation that shines through each and every one of us. And certainly that spiritual light shines through you, Oliver. It's a joy to be able to share in this moment with you.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day
be among those who kindle light.
O source of Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechadlik ner shel Shabbat lechadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
So there's a beautiful reading on page 27. Let's do it responsively as well. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Let's read together. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We turn back to page 26, and Oliver is going to lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkada v'yikada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach ve'otev yenlich machute be'yayechon u'vyomechon u'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru, amen. Yehesh me rabba mevorach, me'al ve'omal maya yitbarach. Vitpara, Vishtabach, Vitpar, Vitama, Vitnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitala, Shemed Kudasha, Barichu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birhata, Vashirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Dami, Rambrelma, Veimeru, Amen.
Yetzer Koach, Oliver, you can go back to sit with your family, and we'll call you up a little bit later to lead us in the Kiddush. We have such wonderful B'nai Mitzvah students here at Congregation Shalom, and Oliver, we are so excited to celebrate with you tomorrow. We are now going to turn to page 28 as we rise together as a congregation. Please rise as we turn to the call to worship.
Yai la 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 la. La 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Lai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. Adonai Hamivorach, Hamivorach leolam vaed. Hamivorach, Hamivorach leolam vaed.
We continue now at the top of page 31, reading together in the English. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and seasons glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amelech Avta, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu na'asiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We turn to page 34 for our reminder of the oneness of God, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we turn to page 36 for Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavacha Hayom Alevavecha Vishinantam Livanecha Vidibarta Bam Beshivtecha Bevetecha Uvlechtecha Vaderech Uvshokvecha Uvkumecha Ukshtartam leot al yadecha Vehayu latotafot bein einecha Uchtavtam al mizuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Leman tizkeru Vasitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kiddoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We read responsively the English at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh Norah tehilot osef eleh Norah tehilot osef eleh Malachutecha ra'u vanecha Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Ze Elianu ve'amru Ze Elianu ve'amaru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh Norah tehilot osef eleh Norah tehilot osef eleh Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai 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 lai 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 lai
We read together the English at the bottom of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We join together on page 44 in our celebration of observing Shabbat, the Vishamru.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Eni uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam leolam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai Et hashamayim ve'et haaretz Uvayom hashevi Shabbat lain nafash.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There's a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. I'd invite you to please rise as able and join us for the tefillah, beginning on page 46.
Adonai sefatai tivtachu fi hagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibur le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav l'Hoshia, Mechalkel Chayim bechesed, Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha bav yevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umachaye, Umatzviach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We continue reading together at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael u'tfilatam b'ahava tekabel. Please read with me the English at the top of page 57. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayers. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And we read together at the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We turn to page 60 for a prayer of peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol et ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We're going to take a few moments now to pray for healing while we are overjoyed to be with one another here on the Shabbat and to be enjoying the fullness of this Shabbat and the fullness of our presence with each other. We know that not everyone is feeling the same degree of wholeness, that there are those in our community who are in need of healing of body or mind or spirit. So on this Shabbat, we think especially for healing of Steve Teplinsky, Esther Cohen, Olivia Jane, Linnea Katz-Pettit, Fredlin Veal, Luca Eisenberg, Carol Miller, Shulamit Shira Bat Gittel Yehudit, Jahari Andre King, Fern Drescher, Bruce Sherman, Ezra Kramer, Jane Zeft, William Gleason, Jeff Zemmel, Sybil Suvalski, Wendy Pollock, John Holz, Gershon ben Avraham, Danielle ben Bruria, Keith Mandel, Carolyn Newman, Kelly Adeniak, Carol Rort Trainer, George Grimm, Patrick Heppy, Gary Elderbrook, Aryeh ben Yosef and Miriam, and Dr. Joyce Sanchez. And if there's someone else for whom you are praying for healing on this Shabbat, I invite you to hold their name in your heart as we continue on page 253 with the Mishaberach prayer.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha la'amotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We'll take just a few moments now for silent prayer, and we'll join back together on page 62 with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom, ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael,
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I've been thinking a lot about gratitude, and I'm very, very grateful for Paul Caston and very grateful for Mark Cohen, lifting our spirits and song and hearing you sing Shalom Rav with the harmony with Rabbi Abby was absolutely beautiful. It really is a wonder to hear your beautiful voices lifting us up. And as I'm thinking about gratitude, there's a story about a man who was walking through the woods, walking through the forest among the trees, and he was really attuned to nature and just having an extraordinary experience and feeling grateful for everything that was around him, right up until he heard the crashing through the woods of what seemed to be a large creature. And he turned around and he saw that it was a bear. And so he ran. I don't know whether you're supposed to run. There's different things that you're told to do when you're confronted with a bear. Sometimes you're told to become big. Sometimes you're told to make lots of noise, but he ran. And he ran, and the bear was chasing him, and it chased this man right into a cave. And the man turned around, and he heard one paw after the other approaching the cave. And so this man recited the Shema, which is what Jews are supposed to recite before they enter into the next world. And so the man recited, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Hear, O Israel. Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. And out of the corner of the cave, where the entrance was, with that paw and the face of the bear leaning into the cave, all of a sudden he heard the words of Hebrew coming from the bear's mouth. And he thought to himself, oh, thank God, it's a landsman. The bear is Jewish. Right up until he heard the Hebrew words that the bear was saying, which was, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And for those of you who don't know, that's the blessing that we say before we eat. Gratitude. I turned that around on you. Well, last week, in millions of homes across America, people gathered around tables. And they came together not just to share a meal, but to share their lives, their stories, their laughter, tears, reflections on the harvests of their year. And for many, it was a moment to pause and give thanks. In times like these, I hope people took the time to name what they're grateful for. Because gratitude is more than an acknowledgement of blessings. It's an act of spiritual courage, especially in challenging times in which we see synagogues in Melbourne and South Africa set aflame, times in which we see wars waged in Gaza, in Syria, in Ukraine, times in which we hold our hostages in our hearts, times in which we see a CEO and father of children gunned down in the street in New York and then applauded by those who in the same breath call for human rights and dignity. See, even maybe especially in this broken world, that gratitude defies despair. Gratitude invites us to reflect on the moments of light, connection, and blessing that exist even amid darkness. And when we take those moments to truly recognize the goodness of what we've been given, we might also catch a glimpse of something greater, a glimpse of the divine. Jacob's story in this week's Parsha, Vayetze, reminds us how sacred moments can emerge when we least expect them. As Jacob flees his brother terrified and alone, he finds himself in a barren place. Exhausted, he takes a stone for a pillow and falls into a restless sleep. And there, in that moment of fear and vulnerability, Jacob dreams. In his dream, a ladder stretches forth from earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending, and God appears, reaffirming the covenant made with Abraham and Isaac and promising Jacob protection, guidance, and blessing. And when Jacob awakens, he is struck with awe and says, "Truly, God was in this place, and I did not know it." What happens next is remarkable. Jacob takes the ordinary stone he used as a pillow and transforms it into a pillar, marking the spot as Bethel, the house of God. What could have been just another night of fear and exhaustion becomes a moment of revelation and connection. Jacob's story invites us to reflect, how often do we, like Jacob, encounter the sacred without recognizing it? How often do we miss the holiness woven into our everyday lives, only realizing its significance once the moment has passed? We live in a fractured world. Division, anxiety, and noise surround us. It's easy to feel disconnected from one another, from ourselves, and from God. In this environment, noticing the sacred can feel like an impossible task, but as Jews, we are called to find holiness even in the chaos. Lawrence Kushner writes, "What is it about ordinary, waking consciousness that seems to filter out experiences of the sacred? Jacob's dream is probably the most powerful and transformative personal encounter with the divine in the Torah. Equally noteworthy is that the event must be anchored in waking reality. For Jacob, that anchoring happens through action, building a pillar, naming the place, creating a ritual. And for us, it might happen through blessings or acts of gratitude or intentional reflection. Judaism teaches us to infuse the mundane with meaning, to elevate the ordinary through mindfulness and intention. Our tradition offers blessings for everything: waking up, eating bread, just like the bear, seeing a rainbow, or reuniting with an old friend. And each of these blessings reminds us that holiness isn't confined to synagogues or special occasions. It permeates the world, and the challenge is to notice it. Tonight, we're honored to have our Introduction to Judaism students with us, and your journey is a sacred one. As you explore what it means to live a Jewish life, to dive deeper into the Judaism perhaps that you know, and Shabbat itself is a ladder between heaven and earth, a weekly opportunity to pause and reflect and sanctify the ordinary. As you experience Shabbat dinner after this service, I invite you to see it as a Beth El moment, a time to gather with friends, with family and community, and reflect on the blessings in your lives. Sharing food and laughter and conversation around the table is one of the most profound ways that we can experience God's presence. We also have the added blessing of celebrating an extraordinary young person in our community, because tomorrow Oliver will become a bar mitzvah, a moment that represents so much more than the culmination of study and preparation. It is a sacred milestone, a Beth El moment in Oliver's life and in the life of his family. Oliver, like Jacob, you have faced challenges and opportunities on your journey to this moment, and you've taken your studies and dedication and growth and turned them into a pillar, a foundation for your Jewish life and for the future of your community. Like Jacob, your journey reminds us of the sacredness of transformation. But sacred moments aren't always found in grand celebrations. Like Jacob, we often encounter the divine in moments of vulnerability or stillness, moments that feel ordinary on the surface but carry deeper significance. Now, for me, one such moment happened years ago, and I've shared this story, I think, before, while working at Seeds of Peace, an international camp dedicated to fostering understanding among young people from conflict zones. One day, I climbed a mountain in Maine with colleagues. It was our day off. Jews and Muslims and Christians and Quakers, and we stood together at the summit looking out over a vast, borderless wilderness. And for a moment, the divisions of the world disappeared, and I felt a glimpse of God's vision of peace. And though I didn't say a blessing then, I'd like to offer one now. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for allowing me to see the possibility of harmony among people. Sacred moments like these don't announce themselves. They're often quiet, they're subtle, a sunrise, a kind word, the beauty of the first snowfall. But they have the power to transform us if only we take the time to notice them. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to notice the sacred, and it doesn't just happen naturally. It's a practice. Like Jacob marking his encounter with a pillar, we can anchor our sacred moments in reality through words, through blessings, or acts of kindness. In doing so, we ensure that those moments don't slip away unnoticed. So as we leave this sanctuary tonight, I invite you to reflect on your own life. Think of a moment when you felt a spark of the divine, when you thought, truly, God is in this place and I did not know it. Was it a grand moment like welcoming a new child, or something small like sipping coffee in the morning sunlight? Take that moment and consider how you might anchor it in your daily life. Could you say a blessing, express gratitude, share the story with someone at your Shabbat table tonight? The world may be fractured, but sacredness is everywhere. woven into the fabric of our lives, waiting to be noticed, and gratitude is how we begin to see it. As we welcome Shabbat, I wish you peace, gratitude, and awareness. May your table be filled with laughter, your hearts with joy, and your minds with the knowledge that indeed God is in this place, even if we don't always know it. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I am grateful, for sure, to have Jeff Berlin back among our community as his arm has healed, and we're grateful to call you up along with Harmony and Linda to step forward as we're going to invite you to open up our ark doors as we turn in our Siddur to Aleinu, which can be found on page 282. That's page 282. We invite you as a community to rise now as we turn to the sacred prayer of gratitude and blessings.
Aleinu lishapeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kogoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkenu chahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anahu korim nishma'avim notim lifnei melech malchei hamlakim hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
We're going to remain standing now as we say a prayer for our country and for the state of Israel, which can be found on page 258. That's page 258. O guardian, let's read together at the bottom. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. We turn to page 259. Avinu Sheba Shamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Gola, Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Smichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha Be'avrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Uracha V'amitcha L'Rasheha Sareha V'yadseha, V'tiknem Be'etza Tova Miofanecha, V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz V'simchat Olam Le'oshveha V'nomar Amen. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We are going to turn now in our prayer books to page 294. And as we do so, we think of those who have entered into life eternal. Particularly in our hearts and minds, we are remembering Herb Verstadt, for whom we mark the period of Shiva. We think of those for whom we mark the period of Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period. Adrian Hirsch, Rabbi Leonard Kravitz, Ann Lieber, Bernard Plotkin, and Brad Rose. In addition to those names, we think of those who've passed away in seasons gone by, for whom we mark their yahrzeit. And though they have died in seasons gone by, we still feel as though we walk within their footsteps. We think of Nathan Altman, Louis Arnovitz, Jack L. Bellhumer, Annie Bookstaff, David Chickerell, Edith Cholak, Harry Cohen, Fanny Dolberg, Samuel Dolberg, Gerald Emanuel, Sarah Emold, Faye Emerald, Norman Esser, Sanford J. Ettinger, Mildred Braun Flintrop, Norman Red Frank, Don Franklin, Richard Franklin, Martin Freeman, Harry N. Galst, Paul Gelfman, Samuel Gorens, Seema Gorens, Harriet Hancher, Rose Holzman, Nancy K. Jones, Todd Kagelman, William Kaplan, Mark Krasno, Daniel Labor, Lawrence Lawasser, Marvin Levy, Rose Levin, Lillian Ann Lonergan, Jack Mahler, Jack John Mechanic, Richard Mesnick, Rose Milhendler, Goldie Naiman, Maxine Ornstein, Mayor Palais, Wilson Phillips, Pamela L. Reese, Samuel Rubin, Milton Ricken, Bernard Rosen, Jean Rosenberg, Harriet Rubnitz, Albert Rumelt, Jack Sheminsky, Leanne Sheminsky, Joseph Schwartz, Sam Solomon, George Stoley, J. H. Sussman, Sidney Turer, Ida Weinberg, Samuel Willens, Sandra Winnick, Philip Zerum, Lily Zitzer, Seymour Zlotnick, Nita Zukro. If there are names that should be added to this list or names that should be pronounced differently than I did, please do call those names as I look in your direction.
Brian Thompson.
May his memory be for a blessing. May his memory be for a blessing. May his memory be for a blessing. May their memories be for a blessing. In addition to the names of our loved ones, so too do we think of all those who have died due to war and or terrorism, all those who have died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals. We think of all those who've died in defense of the state of Israel, as well as all those innocent civilians, regardless of side, that have perished during this war. We think of all those who have died due to the terrible viruses of racism and xenophobia, as well as all those who perished during the Holocaust. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. The Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 294. We rise together as one community as we remember them. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayichon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran bi'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. In our tradition, we are taught that those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. It's a reminder that we always turn from sadness to joy. And it's always a joy to hear the announcements of our congregation because it speaks to the vibrancy of what we're doing here. And it's a joy to call upon our wonderful congregational president, Steve Wallace, to step up to the bima as he is going to read our announcements. because many of these things happen with his charge. So thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. A welcome to all who have not been to Shalom before, and a mazel tov to Oliver. Tikkun Ha'ir is collecting items for their holiday gift drive. That drive goes on until December 19th. Please see the flyers that are in PVAR entryway for details on the items that they're looking for. We have space on the adult civil rights journey that travels April 23rd to the 27th of next year. This trip goes to the American South, to Memphis, to Birmingham, Montgomery, Selma, and Atlanta, and takes a deep dive into the history of slavery, racism, and the civil rights movement. December 14th is Family Movie Night. Join us for the Super Mario Brothers movie, begins at 5 o'clock p.m. On December 15th, we have Temple for Toddlers at 10 in the morning. And on December 18th, we have a special program at Shalom featuring Rabbi Yahya Tobias speaking on Your Voice, Israel's Future, Why the Zionist Congress Matters. Join us at 7 o'clock for this wonderful program and a bit of Israeli wine and cheese as a nosh. Join us on Friday, September 27th for our Hanukkah dinner and Shabbat service. Bring your Hanukkah and light it with the congregation. That's always wonderful. We bring the lights down and we have a whole bima filled with Hanukkah, and it's really something to see. Watch your Shalom Shofar, your emails, Facebook, and the webpage for all of Shalom's happenings, including more upcoming events. Thank you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Steve. We are going to conclude our service in just a moment. Before we do, I want to thank in advance the Druck and the Fares families for sponsoring what I'm sure will be a delightful oneg after our service this evening, so please enjoy that. And speaking of the Fares family, it is also my pleasure to invite Oliver and his family to rejoin us on the bima and help to lead us in the Kiddush, which you can find in your prayer books on page 5. Page 5. So I would invite you all to please rise as able as we participate in the Kiddush. Go ahead and
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim Shabbat Kodecha Yahava Uvratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat Amen. Chaim.
exactly the face we like to see. Yashkoa. And now, if I may ask, Maya Hayom. What a lovely, quite literally and also figuratively way to end our service. We'll conclude our service with Maya Hayom, and there aren't a lot of words, so I'm sure you'll pick it up.
Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom Maya Hayom Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Go team.